Hello, Wild Ones. This is Cole Adams. I am participating in round 2 of Creative Whispers. It is a art journaling game here on YouTube, and it was started by Lisa Young Arts, Gabrielle Heckenbacher, Willow Wanders, and Tina Hoy Art. And all of those ladies have produced a video where one person knew the prompt, the next person didn't, but watched that video, the next person only watched this video, and then the last person only watched the video before her. So I've watched all four for round 2. I'm really confused by this one. I don't quite know what it is, but I was very inspired by some peekaboo textures, some beautiful polka dots and florals, and I'm just gonna go for it. I have a variety of stuff pulled out, and let's get into it. If you are liking this video and this content, please like and subscribe. I'm a teeny tiny channel trying to get to be a little bit bigger channel, and I do art, journaling, jelly printing, all sorts of creative pursuits, sewing, just fun creation.
Let's get into this. I've pulled a few pieces of paper, and I know this is the one I really want to work with. It is an Ecoprint done on a t-shirt press using a roadside weave that we find in our area quite a bit. And all you do is you press with a t-shirt press, which is a really hot big iron, and then you pull the color out from the botanical itself. So I'm using it. This was on kind of a thin, bigger paper, and I'm just going to glue that in and work from that as the background. I also have these punch papers from a previous project. Some deli papers that are, some are jelly plate printed, some are printed off of tiles, and those little circles are printed off of tiles. I thought I would use that previously fussy cut uh, piece in here as well and kind of worked on it off of art journal, but it doesn't, I don't know if it's going to go in. Here I'm using a little stamp to add some color, and the color of the stamp pad is vintage denim. I love to make textures or kind of a, I like that it's a little tiny flower, but also kind of a polka dot in the greater scheme of things. And this is my little watercolor palette. It's a lot of different watercolors, but I love Dan Smith, and I think the way to get really successful watercolor add-ins to your book is to use um, a previous, like spray your watercolors and wet them before you're going to use them by about 5 minutes. They just get looser and a little bit juicier. I also have a dirty water cup at the top of the page and a clean water cup, but I'm just scooching back and forth. I'm not using a ton of water because this paper is more of a school book paper, so I'm trying to really limit how much water goes into it. I love using this pops of orange. I know I want to use those dots in the page, so I'm just kind of adding some orange bits around the page, and I like this kind of limited yellow, teal, vintage blue, and orange palette. I also have some white gouache there in the center, so I added white gouache with the yellow to kind of pull out the color of the Ecoprinted paper. Just really like to make it feel like all of it happened kind of organically, so going in and really playing with it. Yeah, I'm going see how this polka dot paper works. I know I don't want to use the whole strip, but I'm trying to decide if I want to line up some of those dots in the holes of the paper, and I think I do. I really liked um, Gabrielle's video where she kind of pulled out little bits to really highlight areas that are a layer down from the paper she's adding. So I found this paper in my stash and went, oh, that would be perfect for this challenge. And I'm using some kind of vintage blue inspired colors, trying to get to that a little bit darker than that vintage denim. And when watercolors go on, they are darker than they dry. So this piece looks pretty intense, but as it'll dry, it'll lighten up. I also have this one little piece of fussy cut flower that I really wanted to include. It was a little too low on the bigger piece of paper to be visually seen, so I just cut it out before I cut out the bigger piece. And this paper that I'm bringing in now, it has some brushwork with gouache over the top of book paper, and I love these textures, and I often have a pile of book paper next to me as I work, where I just collect all my extra bits of paint. If I have a really loaded up brush, I don't like to just wash that off. Instead, use that on other materials to just add to that awesome collage paper hoard that we all love. Starting to come together and really liking how um, the page is balanced, and I like the cruciform kind of visual of the leaves going all the way from the bottom to the top, and then that big yellow stripe is really making me happy. Grabbing some more deli plate or deli paper, jelly plate prints, and I have always tried to take the waste papers that I don't use the whole piece. Like this is that one circle I ended up pulling off. And a lot of the times, if you try them on the paper you're working on or the page spread you're working on, the little bits of paper work really well um, as kind of emphasizers, is what I like to call them. Like this, I'm just echoing that little rainbow shape I kind of did quickly with a little bit of scrap that came off of um, the notebook paper. Uh, I love to take all of those little vintage pieces and just put them into the paper if possible. It makes it look more complicated and more interesting. Now I'm working with a Sharpie creative marker to put a song lyric in that has just been really in my head lately and inspiring me. And it's turn off the news and build a garden. And it's from Lucas Nelson's band. And it's a great song. I strongly suggest you look it up. I also am dyslexic, so sometimes spelling is a little bit difficult for me. So I just spelled it off site, off on a piece of paper next to me, and realized I had switched the I and the U. And I think I fixed it so nobody could see it, but it happens to me. And mistakes happen in your art book, and you can always fix them. I think that's the key to the game, is to just keep in it, and you can always add another layer because collage is beautiful in that way. I really like how that um, writing turned out. Now I'm going to touch some other colors. Couldn't really read news, so I switched to a gold pen and then added some gold detail of those little flowery kind of shapes um, to the piece. And I'm loving this little dot texture. It's so fun to do and so relaxing to do. I could really add and add and add with penwork to this piece, but I'm trying to keep it pretty simplified. This is simplified for me. I hope that this page inspired you and is interesting to watch. Let me know how you like to start a art journal page. It's getting closer to done. I'm trying to put this deep blue that I used for writing in other areas of the page to kind of balance it out. Again, because it got pretty heavy in that bottom right corner. Taking my overshot pages out. And the other thing I love to do is look at the page in connection with the previous page and the post page, just to see if there's any dots of color I need to add so they aren't super jarring. But I think these look great together. And especially because you can kind of see some of the pages still, because this is a smaller format in a bigger book. I love to make these little notebooks to work in. But I think it turned out beautiful.
Wasn't that fun? Oh my gosh, I had such a great time. I'm really loving these challenges, like being inspired by a group of lovely, lovely artists. I hope that you enjoyed this content. Please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. This Turn Off the News and Build a Garden is from Lucas and Nelson, and I know Willie is not feeling well and has been very ill, so I hope and pray that Willie Nelson feels better. And I love that song so much. I've been really inspired by song lyrics lately. So I hope you go out and find something creative to do. If it's Creative Whispers, please hashtag it Creative Whispers or talk to Lacey to get on the official playlist at YouTube if you are making a video. And I have a new exit because I was inspired last week. I hope that you go make art. I hope that you stay wild and stay weird.